Welcome back, Uplifting Life Partners, to Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery Podcast, cultivating extraordinary connections. The podcast dedicated to giving you the tools to build, repair, and strengthen the foundation of your relationship so you can have a stronger, more joyful, and resilient marriage. I'm your host, Ron Simplified Myers. Let's ignite possibilities together. Well, this is our Self-Love Wednesday episode, and today's topic is for anyone who feels like life is moving faster than you can keep up. Between work, family commitments, and all the little fires we're constantly putting out, it's easy to lose your calm. But here's the truth. You don't have to live overwhelmed. Today, we're diving into simple, practical strategies for stress reduction in a hectic life. Whether you're married, raising kids, managing a career, or all three, you'll leave with tools you can use today to breathe easier, think clearer, and show up calmer in your relationships. Let's be honest, we live in a world that keeps us on the go all the time. 20 years ago, when you left work, you were done, at least until the next day. Now, phones, emails, social media, it means you're never really off. Think about it. You're winding down on the couch at 9:30 at night, and suddenly a work email pops up. Instantly, your body shifts from relaxed to problem-solving mode. Or maybe you hop on quick social media for a quick scroll, but instead of a relaxing, you get bombarded with bad news, comparison posts, and ads that make your nervous system feel hijacked. Here's the crazy part. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing you and your phone buzzing at midnight. It just knows, stay alert. And it's not just technology. Everyday life piles on too. Maybe your kids' schedules make you feel more like a taxi driver than a parent. Or your partner's running late and suddenly dinner feels like a juggling act of frustration, hunger, and worry. Or what about that project you thought was due Friday? Yeah, you know, surprise! It's now Wednesday. Individually, these aren't the end of the world, but stacked together, they keep your system revved up all day long. Now here's the important part. Feeling stressed does not mean you're weak or broken. Stress is actually your body doing what it's designed to do. You're not failing at life. You're human. Here's the quick science behind it. When you feel stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Think of cortisol as your built-in alarm system. It speeds up your heart, makes your breathing shallow, and tightens your muscle. That's the fight or flight mode. Back in the cave days, that was perfect. It helped us run from wild animals or protect ourselves from danger. But today, your body still responds the same way to a text that says, we need to talk. Or when your child spills juice right as you're walking out the door. Or when your boss adds that just one more thing to your already full plate. Your body thinks it's saving your life, but really, it's just reacting to modern chaos. So what can we do about it? Well, I want to give you a quick reset tool you can use anywhere, anytime, and it only takes about 60 seconds. It's called box breathing. Ready? Sit comfortably and relax your shoulders. Number one, you're going to inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath gently for 4, and then you're going to exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds, and then you're just going to pause with an empty lungs for 4 seconds. Let's do it together. Let's do it one more time. And one more again. Now, how did that feel? Now, I know even just 2 to 3 rounds of that, we just did 3, it sends a signal to your nervous system, I'm safe. I can relax. It literally lowers cortisol and brings your body out of fight or flight and into rest and recovery. So here's the takeaway. Stress isn't proof you're failing. It's proof your body is working exactly as it's designed. But now you got a tool to reset and remind your body, I'm safe, I'm okay, and I'm in control. Try using this the next time life feels overwhelmed, and you might be surprised how quickly your body thanks you. So let's get into how stress actually impacts your relationships. See, stress makes us more reactive, short tempers, snapping at the partner or the kids, and it often creates distance. I just need to be alone. And here's the thing about stress. It doesn't stay neatly tucked into just one part of your life. What starts as pressure at work or the chaos of getting the kids to school on time often ends up overflowing into your marriage. I like to picture it like a glass of water. Every demand, frustration, or deadline is like another drop in the glass. Because see, at first, you can handle it. But eventually, the glass does fill up. And the smallest drop makes it spill over. And who usually gets caught up in that overflow? It's not the boss, not the kids. Usually, it's your spouse. That's why we sometimes find ourselves snapping over something small, withdrawing when we should be leaning in, or even blaming our partner for stress they didn't even cause. The relationship becomes an easy place to unload because it feels safe. But that also means that you're giving your partner weight to carry that was never theirs to begin with. And this is why reducing stress is so much bigger than self-care. It's relationship care. When you manage your stress, you're not just doing it for your own peace of mind, you're doing it for the health of your marriage. Because a calmer you creates a safer, stronger us. So when you take time to breathe, to rest, or to set boundaries, remember that's not selfish. That's an act of love towards you and your partner. So this leads us to the question, what are some practical stress reduction strategies? Tools we can use anywhere, anytime. Well, the breath reset, that's one we just went through where we inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, and then kind of sit for 4. There's the 2-minute pause. Before reacting, step away, sip water, count backward from 30. Here's an example. Instead of snapping at your spouse, pause, reset, then speak calmly. You can also do micro moments of calm, where you can do about 3-minute increments, where what that is short rituals like pouring tea, stretching for 60 seconds, or stepping outside for fresh air. Here's something I want you to think about. Peace doesn't only come from vacations. I know. That sounds surprising, right? Because when most of us think about peace, we picture lying on the beach with our toes in the sand, or sitting in a cabin in the mountains with no cell service. Now, don't get me wrong, those moments are amazing. But here's the truth. If the only time you feel peace is when you leave your life behind, then peace is always going to feel out of reach. Real, lasting peace isn't built in one big week away. It's built in the small daily pauses you give yourself. If you only filled your car up with gas once a year, how far do you think you get? We know, not very. Your peace works the same way. You can't run on empty 364 days a year and expect 1 week of vacation to magically recharge your soul. You need little refills along the way. And those refills, they don't have to be complicated. Let me give you a few examples. The morning pause. Instead of grabbing your phone, which you should never do, the second you wake up, take 2 minutes to breathe, stretch, or just sit in quiet before the world comes rushing in. Midday reset. Maybe you step outside for 5 minutes, feel the sun on your skin, and let yourself just be. No phone, no task, just you in the fresh air. Or the evening wind down. Before bed, instead of scrolling until you fall asleep, you pause to journal one thing you're grateful for. Or sip tea slowly and let your body know the day is over. Now be careful with the tea though, or any liquid before bed, because you know how that works. You're going to be forced to go to the restroom in the middle of the night. The purpose in sharing that actual visual was just to send the message of being relaxed. So these are tiny pauses, but stacked together, they build a foundation for peace that lasts. Because here's the reality. Life doesn't stop being busy. The kids will still have soccer practice. The emails will still keep coming. The traffic will still back up. But when you learn to weave little pulses of peace into your daily routine, you stop waiting for a vacation to feel human again. You carry peace with you into the middle of the chaos. So again, the takeaway here is don't wait for the mountain trip or the beach getaway to feel calm. Start noticing and creating the small daily pauses that recharge you. That's where real peace is built, in the ordinary moments you choose to slow down. So practice the art of decluttering your mind. One of the biggest challenges with stress is that it doesn't magically shut off at night. Have you ever just laid in bed, completely exhausted, but your brain suddenly decides to remind you of every single thing you got to do tomorrow? Or maybe it replays that conversation from earlier and it stays on repeat. This is because your brain doesn't like open loops. It wants to solve problems. But nighttime, man, that ain't the time to be solving no problems. What you actually need is a way to tell your mind, don't worry, I've got this covered. You can rest now. And that's where these two simple tools come in. One's called the journal dump and the other, the mental parking lot. Now here's the way the journal dump works. Before you go to bed, grab a notebook or even a scrap of paper and do a quick brain dump. Write down everything that's weighing on you. Worries, to-dos, reminders, even random thoughts. The key is this. You don't organize it. You don't judge it. You don't even try to solve it. Just get it out of your head and onto paper. An example would be call the insurance company. I got to prep for a meeting tomorrow. Car needs an oil change. Feeling nervous about presentation. Don't forget to pack lunch. You could just write lunch. You know what it means. What happens is that your brain sees this written down and it no longer has to keep cycling the same thought like an alarm clock. You've basically told your mind, thanks for the reminder, I got it saved. Number 2, the mental parking lot. Now, we're just basically taking this a step further. Here's how this works. You keep a small notebook by your bed and even a note maybe on your phone and treat it like a holding space for anything your mind tries to bring up at night. You know when that brain says, don't forget to pay the bill. You don't fight the thought. You just park it. Write it down on your notepad or on the note on your phone. And folks, I wouldn't even open my eyes. I'd just reach over and just write. What you're doing is you're telling your brain, it's safe here. We'll deal with it tomorrow. See, the parking lot idea works beautifully because your mind trusts you're not ignoring the task. You're just putting it somewhere safe until you're actually able to handle it. The reason both of these tools work is because both of these tools free up your mental banter that your mind wants to, and it will do. So instead of your brain juggling reminders at 11 o'clock p.m., you've created a system of trust. You've told yourself, I don't have to carry this into my sleep. I'll handle it when I'm rested. And here's the bonus. Not only do you fall asleep easier, but you also wake up more clear-headed because you're not starting the day with that leftover mental clutter. Here's another tool. It's known as the nervous system reset. One of the simplest, yet most overlooked ways to reduce stress is just moving your body. And no, I don't mean a 90-minute gym session or training for a marathon. I'm talking about small, everyday movements that fit into real life. It can be a walk around the block after dinner, dancing in the kitchen while you're cooking, or even stretching while you're watching Netflix. These little things don't just feel good. They actually burn off stress hormones like cortisol that build up in your system when life feels overwhelming. Movement works almost like a reset button for your body. The tension in your shoulders, the racing thoughts in your mind, they start to ease when you give your body a way to release that built up energy. And here's the bonus. Bring your partner into it. Take that walk together. Share a silly dance or do a stretch break. You're not only reducing your stress, you're also creating a moment of connection. And that's powerful for your relationship. Another way to lower stress isn't about moving your body. It's about calming your mind and spirit. For some people, that looks like prayer. For others, it's meditation, writing a gratitude list, or even just sitting in silence for a few moments. The method isn't what matters. It's the practice of slowing down, pausing, and giving your nervous system a chance to reset. Think of it as creating space between the chaos of life and your own inner peace. And here's the most important part. Do what fits your belief system and lifestyle. If prayer grounds you, pray. If meditation helps you stay centered, meditate. If gratitude shifts your mindset, write down 3 things you're thankful for today, which you should do every day. And if none of that resonates, simply sit quietly, breathe deeply, and give yourself permission to just be. So what happens when you do this consistently is that you start showing up to your marriage calmer, clearer, and more present. Your partner doesn't get the leftovers of your stress. They get the best of you. Another thought process that can help bring calm into your marriage is the realization that stress doesn't have to live in silence between you and your partner. One of the healthiest things you can do is share it openly instead of hiding it. Let your partner know when you're feeling overwhelmed. It doesn't make you weak. It makes your relationship stronger because you're creating trust and understanding. A great way to make this is a habit that you can create a simple couple. It's calm rituals. Maybe it's evening tea together, no phone dinner, or a short walk around work. These little rituals aren't just cute. They give you both a built-in pause, a way to reconnect and decompress before the day spills over. You can also practice what's called mirror support. When one of you is stressed, the other becomes a grounding presence. It's as simple as listening without judgment, holding space, or even just sitting together quietly. The goal is to reflect calm rather than add to the tension. Let me give you an example. I know a couple where every little disagreement used to turn into a fight because stress was always unspoken. They started taking a 10-minute pause when one felt triggered, no arguing, just acknowledging the stress. Over time, they learned to step back, breathe, and respond calmly. It transformed their daily interactions and even their connection. What we get from this is sharing stress, building small rituals, and grounding each other isn't just nice. It's how you protect your relationship from the daily pressure of life. So this week, I challenge you to try at least one calm strategy every day. Journal your stress triggers, practice box breathing, or invite your spouse to a 10-minute evening reset. Remember, peace isn't found, it's created by small, intentional choices. So we'll be back next week for another Self-Love Wednesday episode. By the way, we just created the Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery Podcast Facebook page. Ooh, that was a lot. Where you can communicate with us in a much more personal way. And for more exclusive training, deeper dives, our app, clothing, apparel, we've placed all that information in the bio of the podcast, or visit the website simplifieduplifters.net. And folks, if you found value in today's episode, we would appreciate you sharing this episode and the podcast itself with those that you know need to hear this message. And if you haven't already subscribed to Simplified Uplifters Marriage Mastery Podcast, so that you don't miss our upcoming Marriage Builder Sunday, because there we're talking about where we'll explore how these individual strengths, they come together to create an unbreakable bond. So thanks again for joining me here on this transformative Self-Love Wednesday. Until next time, nurture your soul, protect your energy, be kind to yourself, and build the marriage of your dreams. Most important, remember your power. You are extraordinary.